Ladies and gentlemen, we do apologize for this slight delay, but we would ask that all delegates please return to the main plenary for our closing ceremony. They're going to be live streaming. Colleagues, we will start in 60 seconds, and I want to let you know that we're also being live streamed. Ladies and gentlemen, we now draw to a close the first installment of the Caribbean Regional Heads of Government meeting. I would like to thank the heads of government and distinguished participants for their continued engagement and constructive discussions over the course of the past 2 days. I would also like to thank the panelists for their insightful perspectives that they provided to spark our conversations. I was also particularly encouraged to see the bilateral and multilateral consultations taking place today, and I am confident that those discussions will continue outside of this room and set a strong tone for our region going forward. Today, we focused on 2 issues, the importance of which we raised in the various contexts yesterday. In the morning, we discussed climate finance, technology transfer, and capacity building support. After lunch, we turned to another enabling mechanism, transparency and reporting. Under the support discussions, rules and procedures for the major climate funds still do not fully take into the account the special needs of SIDS and further compound the barriers, some from onerous application demands of climate funds to national policy constraints such as dependency on debt and fossil fuel-based energy. Another point brought out under the support issue was there is a need for a new approach. It was noted that a more coordinated approach is needed, foremost an analysis of reasons for the lack of access in the region, the types of instruments, the needs and opportunities and feasibilities of their applicability for the diverse set of countries in the Caribbean, that being middle income status, overseas territories, etc. This needs to be addressed. A regional platform was proposed to coordinate, to facilitate, to help share and exchange experiences, as well as to implement projects. A roster of human resource expertise to include finance, education, and training, and a joined-up procurement process for transition technologies. Climate finance is to come from a broad suite of instruments and sources, including philanthropy and private sector. Examples from the Pacifics were included: the blue bonds, the nature-based solutions, oceans, biodiversity solutions, micro-enterprises, lending, debt swaps, etc. The Caribbean region considered rethinking how to address common issues and barriers, implement programs, and access to finance availability. A regional blue carbon and climate finance strategy was raised as a way of providing clarity on resilience and seeing investment opportunities from a wealth creation perspective. An in-depth analysis of issues in the region beyond capacity issues to inform one on the reasons for the low take-up, and to further inform on new and different approaches, including the feasibility of funds and their applicability to each country, where, how they best fit. The GCF and GEF noted that resources are available to support these essential first steps. Example, the GCF, the GEF, Blue Pacific Finance Hub capacity building resources, the applicability of funds and instruments. In the second session of today, which addressed cross-cutting issues, the cross-cutting panelists shared a range of views on why transparency is important to them, noting how it builds mutual trust, strengthens domestic policy making, opens the door to financing, provides reliable overviews of actions, measures, achievements, assists in being able to quantify losses, and helps to shine light on the effects of policies. And in terms of challenges, panelists noted both political and technical challenges, such as data collection, management, data analysis, and a lack of political support for and awareness of the importance of transparency. Panelists noted that better data can help countries quantify risks, for example, helping to negotiate better premiums for insurance against natural disasters, and attracting investments. The discussion also noted that the benefits are not just seen in the international reporting processes, such as the UNFCCC, but also in improved domestic policy making. To address the challenge of the looming transition to a new reporting system, the enhanced transparency framework for the Paris Agreement, there is a need to build broader and deeper capacity. One way to do this is through regional centers, such as the MRV Hub, which offers a range of needs-based training for parties and non-parties, responding to their specific priorities and levels of readiness. Others spoke to the support available to help build transparency systems through both bilateral and multilateral channels. On final thoughts, panelists noted that to get the system to work, we need everyone on board. Strong capacity to collect good data and information, which in turn helps to attract further investment. Information to show where the resources are needed, as well as trust and good data to help guard against efforts to determine the system through greenwashing. Ladies and gentlemen, colleagues throughout the region, we had a very in-depth and fruitful two-day discussion and roundtable dialogue. I am hopeful that these proceedings of the last 2 days will bear the fruit which we will seek to achieve on the road to COP27. I now yield the floor for the Honorable Prime Minister Philip Brave Davis to tell us how we are going to prepare those next steps. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Newbold, for that complete reflections of today's proceedings. Your Excellencies, The road to COP27 is not long. We have less than 3 months before we are gathered in Sharm el-Sheikh, and decisions will be made to advance climate action or maintain the status quo. These decisions will have significant ramifications for our people and nations. So, on our journey to COP27, I want to outline next steps from this meeting and potential considerations for regional action. Firstly, a draft summary of these proceedings, which will be no more than 3 to 4 pages long, is currently being prepared in collaboration with the UNFCCC Secretariat. This draft summary of proceedings should be ready for circulation to your governments before the end of the week. Please note, the draft summary of proceedings is not all-encompassing. It is meant to be factual and will cover the main issues under the 4 thematic areas addressed in this meeting. The draft summary of proceedings will be utilized to complete a chair's note for this regional meeting. The chair's note will be further flushed out and refined with your comments and views. We have provided you an email address, and we will be providing you an email address if you don't have it already, to provide inputs and proposals. And that address is regionalheads@bahamas.gov.bs. So, for example, we have heard innovative proposals for pooled procurement of critical items for climate adaptation. We've also heard about advancing a regional blue economy strategy and framework. We've heard about the need to rethink debt, sustainability, and access to products. In other words, it's one thing to provide us with the funds, but if the product to which the funds are being provided for are not available or unattainable to get, then it makes no sense at all. So my government will continue to review and incorporate views sent in by parties to make an inclusive chair's note. Additionally, I look forward from the chair's note that we, as a region, are able to echo key positions going into the UN General Assembly and other key high-level meetings in the lead up to COP27. We also wish to have consensus among our region to have a similar regional meeting to be done every year and incorporated into the UNFCCC calendar. So each year, we would hope to have such regional meetings in the various countries around our region to be able to ensure that each year our voices could be heard, because it needs to be heard. It needs to be louder now more than ever. And as I indicated earlier, we cannot advocate properly if we are not given a priority in this space. And giving priority in this space, it starts off with the first step of putting this event as an annual event on the UNFCCC calendar, CCC calendar. I've also been in touch with the COP27 presidency to discuss making a space for us as a region to highlight and advance further actions and ideas that came out of this meeting at COP27, and look forward to your collaboration in this matter. I think we need our specific space at COP27, and considerations being given to that, so that we can participate and make each of our voices heard where there may be no consensus, but at least the common goal of ensuring that action is taken to bring relief to our region. In closing, on behalf of the government and people of the Commonwealth of Bahamas, I want to express my continued gratitude for your participation, fruitful discussion, and I know our region will only come out stronger by working together and united for climate action. I want to thank each and every one of you for being here and for your participation.
Thank you, Prime Minister. So, ladies and gentlemen, we come and we find ourselves at the close of the first ever Caribbean Regional Heads of Government meeting in preparation for COP. We look forward to 2023, when someone else can be standing up here saying the same thing in a different place. So we definitely wish to encourage each and every one of you who would wish to host this to please let us know so that we can commence those sorts of works. And we look forward to seeing all of you, your youth representatives included, at COP27. Thank you. So we have a press conference now. You, Dominica, Barbados, to the press room.